please. Mrs. Sealy? Here. Mrs. Foley?
Here.
Mr. Leidig?
Here.
Mr. Robert?
Here.
Mrs. Beverly? Here. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Thompson, Superintendent Spotlight.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Last meeting, we talked a little bit about a recognition that we received from Ohio High School Athletic Association, OIAA, the Bruce Brown Award of Excellence. And just to get a little bit more detail on this distinguished award that was presented to our district, I brought Mr. Rockwell in, who's going to come on up and provide us with some background and some information on that. So thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Thompson. I'll start with giving a little bit of background on the award. It's named after Bruce Brown, who is unfortunately no longer with us, but he was a legendary athletic director through the state of Ohio. He essentially created all the professional development that we see going on today in the world of athletics and athletic departments specific to high school. So he passed away in 2020, and they named this award after him. And really the idea behind it is to recognize schools. In this case, this year there were 44 schools out of 800 plus in the OHSA that received this award. It is certainly a team award. This is not an individual, it's our entire team, from the Board of Education to administration all the way down to athletes, and I'll talk about that in a second. But they came up with the award to recognize excellence and realize that not all departments are equal. And I want to take this opportunity to really thank and promote all of the people that make up our team as far as our athletic department goes. So behind the award, there's all these different legal duties, they call them, of athletic personnel. I'll just name a few and then move on. But duty to plan and to supervise, to assess athletes' readiness for practice and competition, duty to maintain safe playing conditions and safe equipment, and to instruct properly, condition them properly, to provide emergency care and a proper emergency response plan, an action plan, an EAP, to provide proper transportation, and to duty to select, train, and supervise all of our coaches. So again, we could not do that without everybody in our community, in our district, playing a big role in this. So certainly a team award. Again, Board of Ed, Dr. Thompson, Todd Porcello, Bob Nisley as the principals, my assistant who will be retiring in January. At the end of the month, Tony Ovens has been here 25 years, and everybody in here already know, she's a rock star and gets a lot of the credit for keeping our department on track. Mindy Allen does a fantastic job as our middle school AD and assistant athletic director. Jim Smith, our maintenance and our facilities are top notch, not only in the county, but in Northeast Ohio, and I've put them up against anybody in the state. And they do a fantastic job. Frank Ropash is all over the place, outside in the springtime, getting fields ready, inside, setting up, transitioning. We've got an event next Monday. We have a basketball game that'll end around 3 o'clock, and we're having a wrestling match about 2 hours later. So there's a lot of things that go into that excellence and that planning. Jim and his crew do a fantastic job. Randy at transportation, I mentioned the transportation piece. This entire state, this entire country is up against it when it comes to transportation and lack of drivers. And we're always promoting that. And Randy himself has gotten in a bus and driven our kids to competitions. And they do an excellent job. We have a new van. Thank you very much for the van is incredible. We've been using it. There's thousands of miles on the van already, and we'll continue to use it here as we go. So just all of those things, then that's behind it. And then our coaches, I think we have excellent coaches. The time and the energy and the effort that they give to their teams and their particular sports and honing their craft. We want them to go learn from the best and hear about professional development opportunities. And that sort of goes back to the Bruce Brown piece. And all of these things went into this award. So our coaches are fantastic. We have great athletes. We're a small school. Our kids will literally run through brick walls for their coaches. And they put so much time and energy in. We want them to be multiple sport athletes. We know they're doing things outside of the season. They're lifting. Coach Christinger should be mentioned in here as well. Our strength and conditioning program and our weight room were certainly part of this award. Again, just the overall excellence that exudes here, is why we were able to receive this award. So, and then our families as well, our parents, everybody's has to buy in and to make it an excellent program. We have to have the buy-in, obviously, from mom and dad and the whole community, which I know that we do. So that's a little bit about the Bruce Brown Award. We were honored to receive it. And it's, again, certainly an entire district award, something that we all be very proud of.
Thank you, Mr. Rockwell. Very much appreciated. And again, not unlike academics, with athletics, we're so reliant on our community and the youth programs that we put together to prepare our kids to be ready once they come into school, and we continue to work on that. So it takes all of us to make sure our kids achieve at high levels, both academically and athletically, and we sure were able to show that in the most recent years, and I'm confident we'll continue to show that. We just finished up a great fall season. Thanks to the athletes for all their dedication, commitment, their coaches, parents, and families. A number of All-Ohio accolades. One particular one that stuck out with me was Jordan Rowan, who was named to the United States All-Girls Soccer Team. United States. Second time in our history that any player has gotten that much of a recognition, and the last one was Emily Hinton back in 2011. So that's an amazing accomplishment to get that kind of recognition, and the work that went in behind that. We're just very proud of that accomplishment. Moving on, we got some activities that obviously in the holiday season. I hope you were able to get to one of the 3 winter concerts last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Unfortunately this year, because of snow days, we weren't able to put on the senior citizens luncheon, and with the Bucks program, that always gets me started with the holiday spirit. And I had a little void in my heart because I missed that this year. Mr. Purcell's promised me that I can maybe get some of that joy this spring. We're going to try to do a makeup luncheon maybe in the spring if at all possible. And but last week did not disappoint. Our kids, again, whether instrumentally or vocally, were able to perform and provide us with some great entertainment and music. And so I hope you got to see some of those concerts. And thanks again to all of our teachers and band folks and choir folks for getting those kids ready to perform. This is the time of year, 5th grade Cookies for a Cause. Pretty incredible. Our students listed ways they can connect and make a positive impact on our community, and used student ideas to create a grade-wide philanthropic. I can't say it. Philanthropic. Help me. Thank you. Project with the direct ties to 5th grade curriculum called Cookies for a Cause, and so with their favorite holiday recipes. So congratulations to the 5th grade group for doing all those things. Students brought batches of their cookies last Friday and donated to 15 community organizations and local first responders. PSL students, as always, helped to deliver cookies to Project Hope and Forbes House. And then PSL holiday food drive results. PHS Block 2 classrooms brought in 440 pounds of food, $777. In addition to that, PSL students brought in an additional 2,308 pounds of food by collecting an IGA and throughout the community. And students also raised $3,278 by ringing the bell at the Salvation Army Red Kettle, for a total of $4,055 raised for the holiday food drive. So our students, again, whether it's through community service, athletics, academics, we're just so proud of the work that they do and the contributions they make. Wonderful stuff. We're also, you'll see tonight, aboard, we're asking for your authorization to maybe make a move on House number 3 for our house flipping project. We don't want to disclose too much, because it's a competitive market out there. But Mr. Zuzzi and Mr. Purcello have been working hard, and we think we have our sights on one. And so we're hoping to gain authorization tonight to start that bidding process and maybe get our kiddos into a home number 3 and start building on those renovation skills and the things that we do with our house flip project. So Look forward to getting your support on that. Mr. Purcell, anything to add on there? We're keeping it quiet.
Yeah, we visited once, we have a budget laid out, felt pretty good about it, get key information from the realtor. They have to repair value, what the comps play out at. Looking at foundation, get some inspections done and hopefully, figuring out the right offer here.
Get Mr. Andrzejczyk involved with financial literacy too. He can, that'd be a great avenue for him as well. But thank you. Obviously, we have this is policy update season. We had a ton of policies that we did a first reading on. We'll have some second readings tonight. We'll have another first reading on a special update policy. And then for your enjoyment, we're going to have a number of first readings coming up in January. So it is the season for policy updates. But the one we are going to ask for a first reading tonight is a new policy, 2265. This special update is issued in response to the recent enactment of HB 214 regarding specific beliefs, affiliations, ideals, principles. The act requires each school district to adopt and post a policy by January 22nd, 2025, prohibiting the use of statements of commitment to or soliciting or requiring specified individuals to affirmatively ascribe to specific beliefs, affiliations, ideals, or principles concerning political movements or ideology. And so the draft policy is available for your review. I ask you for that first reading this evening to get that done so we can be in compliance with the law and have this in place by January 22nd. And I believe that is the end of my administrative update. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. A lot of good things happening. It's nice to hear. Committee reports. We had a curriculum committee meeting, so we had the opportunity at the curriculum committee meeting to go and visit in the middle school the new
Like career.
career readiness center that's going to be working at. Dr. Malcheski, would you like to give us a little bit of a overview?
Sure. Career Exploration Lab is our first expenditure we're making with our 953,000 CTE award. So you'll see on the agenda tonight an almost 100,000 about expenditure for Paxton Patterson. Again, that's coming out of the state grant. What that will allow students to do is to take their interest and aptitude data that students do in middle school and actually try out a career for a 9-week stint and see if it fits or doesn't fit them. And sometimes not fitting them is good information to themselves as well. So if you can imagine real world experiences with engines or cosmetology or phlebotomy or EMT, any kind of work that are in-demand jobs in the region, our 7th and 8th graders next year will be involved in that. Anything you would add, Mr. Nyson?
It's going to look awesome when it's done. So we've got some renovation stuff that's going to be happening over Christmas break, some minor stuff. And then over the summer, we met with Jim Smith, and there's going to be some interesting upgrades. So what we're looking to do is have use of both of those classrooms, possibly kind of blowing out part of a wall there to allow for a greater amount of space. So some plumbing, maybe some glass observation windows. It's gonna be nice.
So hopefully by open house time next year, the whole community can see it, and students will begin on a small level starting in January. Our 7th graders will.
Yeah, we bought partial module. We bought just a few modules to start this year with one class, and then we're going to add a grade level next year as well. So it'll be open to 7th and 8th graders. And they have the ability to actually go through several different career modules with like hands-on applications. I know there's like that leg up there that has like the wounds that they can we've got a couple Briggs and Stratton, like Jim Smith looked at the engines. He's like, man, these are like premium engines that kids can actually work hands-on, in the classroom doing some CAD stuff, still got the 3D printing. So it's going to be pretty exciting, and it's not necessarily limited to any one thing. It's a wide variety of modules that students will actually have a lot of choices and be able to use the U-Science data that we start to collect at the middle school to kind of be like, okay, so it says I'm really good at this and I have an interest in this, I'm gonna give this a whirl. And then when they decide, they see maybe the fake blood coming out and makes them, tipsy, maybe they decide the medical field is not the right way to go and they go off in a different direction. But, allowing them to think and plan, starting as early as 7th and 8th grade, give them a little better pathway to high school and then, college or post-secondary.
So as you see this expenditure kind of sunset around August and then launch for kids, you're going to see the high school piece pick up, and that's going to be adding into our tech hub, more ability for options in tech such as cybersecurity options, automation, robotics, things that will really fill a void that we feel we have for engineering at this time. And so as that one sunsets, we'll pick up with high school's piece. Thank you.
Thank you. Same to the other things that the kids get exposed to, so they know what's out there.
There was the additional 90,000 for AI that we had. I have the agenda open on the page. And then the PD day, we did the preview of the PD day and the agenda, and then the communication tool that we're exploring to have more cohesive communication in the district.
Which I think I sent everyone a sample of, so you can take a look at the new app.
Just to clarify, that's not a $90,000 on general budget though. That's a $90,000 that Governor Houston's office opened up for AI and education. It's a huge number. I told that office today, I don't see us using that type of an expenditure, but that's the amount that maximum we could apply for, so we did. And our teachers, all of our secondary teachers will be credentialed in that at the January PD.
And then the Jessie Weinberger information went out via email to parents, that they had some data from her talk and some of the data she collected, and it's actually quite alarming to see those are the words of our own kids, of what they're saying about cell phone use and social media, and it's our kids' actual feedback about it. So it's kind of eye-opening to take a minute to read through that, take a few minutes to read through it, digest it. It's not something that's comfortable to look at, but I think it's something they'll have to take a look at. And then there was some new curriculum that we're required to change the reading curriculum. So we went over some of that, and they've decided on the path that is the best one for us. And it's one that we actually like, so it's a good thing. So we'll be moving forward with that as well.
Already, I believe 85% of our elementary teachers are already have done the training for science or reading and have met that obligation, which is not due till next June. So we got a great start on that as well.
And that's about it for curriculum. Anyone else?
No.
Okay. Administrative updates.
Did it?
Okay.
Whoops. Sorry.
Public participation. Do we have anybody? Okay. Consent agenda. Item A, review of minutes. The board is asked to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of November 19th, 2024. The board hereby waives the public reading of these minutes and shall post them accordingly. Item B, donations. The board is asked to accept the following donations from the sources indicated for deposit into the account and/or department listed as recommended by the Chief Financial Officer. Item C, recertification stipend. Hold on, sorry. I'm not used to being on paper. Pursuant to Article 9 of the OPCMOA approved November 8th, 2023, the board is asked to approve payment of $5,000 for the bus operators listed who satisfactorily completed recertification of their license, as recommended by the local superintendent and chief financial officer. Item D, approval of professional development stipend. Pursuant to OC Local 367 negotiated agreement, the board is asked to approve a flat sum of $600 for the 25-26 school year for the individual listed below who has satisfactorily completed 20 or more contact hours of pre-approved professional development offerings as recommended by the local superintendent and director of student services. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mr. Robert?
Yes.
Ms. Presser?
Yes.
Mrs. Sealy? Yes.
Dr. Thompson, superintendent.
Thank you. Under personnel acceptance of a resignation, the board is asked to accept the resignation of the individual listed for the position noted as recommended by the local superintendent. Under B, personnel approval of appointment, the board is asked to approve the individual noted for the position indicated pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, background check, and certification as recommended by the local superintendent. Under C, personnel approval employment curriculum. The board is asked to approve the employment of the individual listed to complete the curriculum work at the rate of pay of 36 per hour and for the maximum number of hours indicated as recommended by the local superintendent and assistant superintendent. Under D, personnel approval appointment athletic volunteers. The board is asked to approve the individuals listed as volunteers for the 24-25 sports noted, pending successful completion of background check and certification as recommended by a local superintendent. That'll be on the addendum, so I'll talk to you about that then. E, personnel approval appointment substitutes. The board is asked to approve the individuals noted for the 24-25 daily substitute position listed, pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification, and background check as recommended by the local superintendent. F, we have approval of an out-of-state travel. This is baseball. The board is asked to approve the out-of-state travel to Cocoa Beach, Florida for the PHS baseball team to attend practices and games from March 23rd to the 29th, 2025, which is spring break, as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. Under G, approval of an out-of-state travel softball. The board is asked to approve the out-of-state travel to Cocoa Beach, Florida for the PHS softball team to attend practice games from March 23rd to the 29th, 2025, and this is also spring break. As recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. And out-of-state travel approval for track. The board is asked to approve the out-of-state travel to Somerville, South Carolina for the PHS track team to attend practices and meets from March 24th to 29th, 2025, spring break, as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. Under I, we have our policy second reading. The board is asked to adopt the new revised board policies listed as recommended by the local superintendent. This concludes my superintendent's report.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Can you separate out item D?
Jesse seconded, can you amend the motion to the item?
Did Jesse motion?
Yeah.
She did.
Okay, yeah,
The motion to approve all but B, right?
Amend your motion.
yeah, I'm on the motion to approve all but E.
Yes. Yeah, I seconded it.
Is there any discussion? The trash trip is 2 locations, so that's just to make a note. It's in the description. It's
Okay. I'm
Myrtle
sorry.
and Somerville.
Should we motion to approve B separately?
Yeah, we will.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
No, that's okay. So that one, just because it's on there, it's just Somerville, but it's actually 2 locations, so we're approving the right thing.
What's the other location?
Myrtle Beach. It's in the description when you read it,
Oh,
but it's just not listed out as the destination.
So there's 2 separate trips or make it 2 stops?
It's 2 stops. It's the same thing they did last year. So they do a few days in Myrtle Beach because it's free to use the track there for practice. And then the meet's actually in another location. There's another, like a freshman meet or something that's in Myrtle while they're there usually.
And then the softball and baseball, are they gonna be able to share resources with both teams going to the same location, same dates? No? Like, not even transportation?
I think parents are usually responsible, but Mr. Rockwell, is that,
Yeah, so they're actually a little bit different. Even though they're in the same area, the way it's worked out is from a standpoint of the company that runs those types of events. Just like if we were doing something in Myrtle Beach for baseball and softball, the Ripken experience there separates them out. They've taken a little bit different approaches and based on parent responses to both. Baseball is flying down as a team, and so they're on Southwest, and they're paying for their flights and things like that through some fundraising and then parent support. And the softball parents' feedback to Coach Karina was, we'd rather just be responsible for getting the kids there. And so that's what we've done. We sort of listened to them, and that's why it's a little bit different, even though they'll be in the same location.
any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mrs. Jessica?
Yes.
Mrs. Solly?
Yes.
Mrs. Foley?
Is there a motion to approve item D?
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mrs. Metzger?
Yes.
Mrs. Seoli?
Abstain.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mrs. Capo, Chief Financial Officer's report?
Do you want to do this one?
Oh, yes. Dr. Thompson, your addendum.
There you go.
Thank you. I had it in my mind and then we talked and it's this time of year.
Yes, sorry, we did an addendum tonight, and I just want to first, express my gratitude to the board, for, the continued work, to foreshadow, to look ahead and try to assure the long-term stability, sustainability and success of the district. It's not easy to do. Whether it's the 10-year plan that we go over very closely with Mrs. Capo and Mr. Smith about our facilities and the things we're doing to keep the beautiful campus in shape the way we need to, hiring new staff. We've had a lot of, veteran staff and the wisdom that they hold leave us in the last few years, and that may continue as they go on to their next journey. And we've been able to replace them with, outstanding teaching candidates to carry on the tradition of success in the district. And the long-term, strong working relationship that we've established with our OPSI organization and with our PCTA teachers organization continues. And so tonight, as part of our addendum, we're asking you to approve a proposal that will extend both of those contracts for an additional 2 years beyond next year. So as we go through some changes administratively and so on, we can rest assured and have some stability, so we can continue to focus on what's important, and that's the education of our students. And so I'm so appreciative and thankful for both OPSI and PCTA membership on approving these proposals, and we'll be asking for your approval as well. Also, we're asking for the approval of a personnel appointment for bowling folks, and like our policy reads and states that anytime that there's some interest in a new sport, it has to begin as a club. And so this volunteer, and that's what we're doing to see if this generates the type of interest and sustainability that would then allow it to someday become a bona fide sport for our district. So I'll go ahead and read those reports as we move on. So under personnel approval appointments, athletic volunteers, the board is asked to approve the individual listed as a volunteer for the 24-25 sport, pending successful completion of background check and certification as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. Approval appointment substitutes, the board is asked to approve the individuals noted for the 24-25 daily substitute position, pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification, and background check as recommended by the local superintendent. COC BOE negotiated agreement 23 through 28. The board is asked to approve modifications to the current Ohio Association of Public School Employees Local number 367 and Prairie Board of Education negotiated agreement, and authorize the local superintendent and chief financial officer to enter into a successor agreement extending the current contract through June 30th, 2028, as recommended by the local superintendent and chief financial officer. And D, PCTA BOE negotiated agreement 23 through 28. The board is asked to approve modifications to the current Perry Classroom Teachers Association and Perry Board of Education negotiated agreement, and authorize the local superintendent and chief financial officer to enter into a successor agreement extending the current contract through June 30th, 2028, as recommended by the local superintendent and chief financial officer. And E, approval of policy first reading for HB 214. The board is asked to consider the following revised board policy as a first reading for future action as recommended by the local superintendent. Draft policy is available for our review below. This concludes my superintendent's addendum report.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call please.
Mrs. Seoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Yes. Now, Mrs. Capo.
Thank you. A, approval of financial reports. The board is asked to approve the financial reports for November 2024 as recommended by the chief financial officer. B, contracts and agreements benchmark education. The board is asked to approve the 3-year service agreement with Benchmark Education for Ohio required HQIM reading curriculum at Perry Elementary School. Perry Local Schools will enter into an agreement with Benchmark Education for a deferred payment plan in the total amount of $115,704.75 for K-5 reading and science, social studies, complex text, as budgeted from the curriculum department and recommended by the assistant superintendent and chief financial officer. The approval of expenditure tax in Patterson. The board is asked to approve legalization of CTE grant funds to purchase modules and furniture from Paxton Patterson for the PMS Career Exploration Lab in the amount of $97,971 as recommended by the assistant superintendent and director. And this concludes my chief financial officer's report.
Is there a motion for A, C, and D?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? So the state mandated that we change the reading curriculum, and they put out a list of certain ones that we were allowed to choose from, and this is where we are, so. Background information for anyone who didn't have it. Roll call, please.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mrs. Metzger?
Yes, sorry, that was the other one, but still.
Mrs. Seoli?
Yes.
I said yes to it.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidy?
Yes.
Sorry, that was the other one. I should have waited for the discussion for that, but. Sorry. Is there a motion for item B?
So moved.
Second.
For work. We just have to pull it. We can't vote on it for work.
For professional.
Oh, I was wondering why we pulled.
Yeah, it was just for
Okay,
work.
got it. Thank you.
Question?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mrs. Metzger?
Yes.
Mrs. Seoli?
Abstain.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
And Mr. Leidy?
Yes.
And your addendum? There's an addendum, right? Yes.
A, authorization of home purchase. The board is asked to authorize the chief financial officer and board president to execute the purchase of a home located at 3303 River Road, Perry, Ohio, for an amount not to exceed $190,000 plus required closing costs, as recommended by the chief financial officer. And D, approval of contracts and agreements, ESCWR addendum EMIS. The board is asked to approve the addendum to the Line District Service Agreement with the Educational Service Center of Western Reserve for EMIS coordinator as recommended by the chief financial officer. And this concludes my chief financial officer addendum report.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I had a question on the home purchase. I'm sorry if this was mentioned before. Is it up to like a foreclosure? Is it on the open market? Like,
Open market,
okay.
it's listed by realtor.
And is there like a description of the house, like size of the house or?
Yeah, I can give it right here. It's 1,160 square foot, 69 years old, 2 beds, 1 bath. Has a sunroom that's not a part of that square footage because of there's no heating in that space. I'm told that's why that's not counted in the square footage. Sits on 4.3 acres, septic with city water. So,
Okay.
And Ryan's done a pretty thorough look at it. We're going back through it, I think Thursday.
I'm the foundation expert.
Yeah, with a foundation expert. And then the realtor also recommended having an inspection as part of the purchase. So we have some safety nets in there. So we'll be pretty thorough with it.
Where are we with the other house?
At any point, we could go through the public auction. I think we have to go through public auction when we sell, right? And we sell them.
Is there a reason we're only?
Because we didn't have another house present to work on. So they're just,
So is it, I'm saying, is it finished already to go? Like we could?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what we did this fall was keep it, do little projects, do different things with the shed that's on site. That, probably pretty close to finished. Small project by small project until we found the next we can buy, sell, transition students over to the next learning space.
So is the plan to wait and keep that one and not even list it until we have the other one secured as a work site?
I believe that, yeah, I think that was I think that was the plan.
I'll make sure. Thank you.
Todd, do we know can we check on if that patio is permitted and maybe that's why they didn't include it?
Yeah, we can circle around with the realtor.
Just to make sure we're not getting a
Right.
non-permitted space tear down.
So there won't be a time when the kids don't have a A lab.
That's the goal. Yeah. Last time we had gone through this transition process, we were in Brian Zuzi's area of the building down there as a lab for close to a semester.
Yeah.
And the plan was keep this, do small projects, and hopefully not have loss of time in a lab, actual house.
Thank you.
Roll call, please. Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mrs. Custer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fielder?
Yes.
Any new business? Oh, I'm sorry, unfinished business. Just an update of where we are with the transfer of the Champion Farms property. We are prepared to transfer it over. We are currently waiting for them to approve the deed restriction. Is that correct?
For the easement?
Yes, for the easement.
Correct.
So that's where it's at. We did ask for a spot at the table to talk about abatements and don't have that as of yet. So we tried to, because we talked about how like we could potentially lose a lot of money depending on what the abatement is. So at the current time, it's just impossible to tell how much money because there's so many unknowns. So we asked to be allowed to come to that conversation, and to date, we have not been granted that. So that's the update.
We do have legal counsel.
We do.
actively working on it.
So when you say we're waiting for them, meaning what?
The village council needs to approve and sign off on, they have to sign the easement.
The easement, that was part of the original contract and the terms and conditions, right?
Right.
Okay. So nothing's changing.
And the
It's
other
as is.
entities that are involved with this, where do they stand?
The what?
The
other
other
entities.
entities,
As far as,
township, Jed,
I don't believe anything's been done
Nothing's been
or
done.
transferred.
Have we asked to be in those conversations?
Yes.
And was that permission granted?
Well, they don't have authority to
Yeah,
authorize abatements.
Gotcha. But we've asked to be.
yeah, I was at the judge meeting last week and asked the questions and expressed our concern with where it would be. So there's been a lot of communication that way. Tiffany's actually on the judge as a member of, not as a member of the school board though,
No.
but, so I've been attending the meetings to keep informed as to what's going on as much as I can. So that's to get as much information as we can get.
If a new business comes to town, let's say a data center is built, for example, because that's the conversation, if that happens, the judge does not have the authority to approve for abatements and that sort of thing. That would only be, neither does the township. So the only one that has that authority would be the village that has that authority. So that's why us being involved with the other two is kind of irrelevant because they don't have any governing.
Right.
The attorney that came in that night spoke about that. They talked about TIFs and CRAs and abatements. So he addressed, that's why we brought him in to address those concerns.
He advised today that we should attempt again to ask to be at that conversation when they give us notice of abatements that they plan to do. Which is, as she said, we'll have the specifics of all those variables that we can't really speak to now. And so we'll be able to have a better, more focused conversation at that time.
And what method do we use to ask?
I went and asked. We actually, the lawyers have asked also, like, our lawyers have asked them, their lawyers, and
Had we submitted anything formal from our attorney to ask?
For the village, we did, we offered to release the easement if they would.
Yeah, I got that part, but.
Yeah, and they told us no.
Okay, any other unfinished business? New business? Correspondence and announcements? There will be no classes December 23rd, 2024 to January 2nd, 2025 for winter break. The district will be closed December 24th, 25th, and 31st, 2024, and January 1st, 2025. There will be no classes held on January 3rd, 2025 for Professional Development Day. The 2025 Organizational Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 14th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. in the Starbucks Center Conference Room. The next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 14th, 2025, immediately following the 2025 organizational meeting in the Starbucks Center Conference Room. There will be a Board of Education work session on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. in the Starbucks Center Conference Room. Anyone have anything else? Public participation? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jeffries?
Yes.
Mrs. Seoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidy?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.